right. We are live. This is Rachel. How goes it? Rachel from Forge of Femme. And I'm going to be painting some ends of my sticks with a little bit of orange. They're already painted black, as you can see. But I forgot I had another species of stick already painted black, another fruit wood. This is, I don't believe, technically a fruit wood. This is buckthorn. But now I have to do something to differentiate them. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Part of what I'm going to be doing, if I don't throw my acid brush all over the place. Let's get this paint mixed up a bit. It actually doesn't matter that much. Okay, get that all shaken up. I was shaking it up on my way out here, actually. So there's that. Okay, I'm going to get my handy-dandy little kiradashi. I'll show you guys. My cool little kiradashi. I'll show you too. I'm live on Rumble. I'm live on YouTube. But I'm going to get this can of paint opened right here. And it's cool to use the back of this. It works great as a can opener, a paint can opener, if you will. So set that there. And I'm just going to do probably, I might do like half of it orange or like something along those lines. Or maybe like a stripe. Something easy, simple, nothing really a big deal. But all the pieces that have black on them. Did I get paint on me? Yeah, I did. Oh, that's lavender. So I know that is actually not the wood I need to be painting. So I'm just going to put a light bit of this orangey peachy color on there. And this will tell me that this is buckthorn. And I'll catalog this. And then I don't know, March 2026. Actually, these were harvested in February 2026, if I recall. It might have even been January, come to think of it. So I got to mark that down. I'm going to say probably January because there's still a lot of snow on the ground. And these, I can feel they're starting to dry up a bit, I guess you could say. Like, it's when wood starts seasoning and gets to a really good point, the bark starts to get this kind of like constricting kind of feeling because it's, it's dehydrating. And this is starting to get that in some aspects. We shall see how well this seasons, though. I've never used buckthorn before. And so far, the bark has like I don't know if you guys put it on the microphone. It's kind of got this like, I don't know, papery sound. Hey guys, how's it going? Rachel from Forge of Femme. I'm painting some sticks that I'll be having seasoning to become walking sticks. And these might become walking sticks by this year, actually. These might not need a full year or two to season. But time will tell, because I've never used that wood, and the bark is already kind of wacky. And then Jim Ferguson says hi. Hello, Jim. Let's see. Here's another one right here. This one, when this one's all said and done, this one will actually be a cudgel. And I will leave some aspect of this and this and this. It'll all be trimmed down a bit, but this will become a shillelagh. What's the weather like where you guys are, by the way? It is so wet, drizzly, and cold. I'm out of Detroit, so we're getting kind of this, from winter to spring transition going on, and it's pretty cold. Walked my dogs and put a raincoat on my little Shiba Inu. She didn't know how to handle it. It was pretty cute, but she stayed largely dry, so that was a plus. Because those dogs have an extremely dense coat of fur, and that stuff takes forever to dry. All right. Oh, come on. It got stuck. There we go. Let's see. There we go. That's what I was after. And I'm just going to, every part that's black on this is going to have a little bit of this orangish color, and this is going to tell me that this is buckthorn. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing what comes of this, because like I said, I've never used buckthorn before. This is my first time, and I always like trying new woods for sticks because you never really know, to be completely honest, like what's going to be a good stick or not. Because there's some, like there's obviously the crowd favorites, but I like to march to the beat of my own drum because there's so many woods out there that are outside the crowd favorites that are really very good sticks, and they get looked over often. And this one This is going to make one amazing walking stick when this is done. I'm actually going to, I think I'm going to cut this off tonight, so I might actually leave that for last so I can just get these all painted up real quick. Next, I think this one. Here's another one right here that I still might keep it, but I might cut it short. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut these down a little bit. They don't need to be that ostentatious. And then I'll go back to painting them black on the other side when I come back out here tomorrow. I'll just do half of them in orange tonight. Like I said, this is the sealing of the ends. The reason why I actually do it is you don't have to use wood sealer. That does exist. People use it. But it seals the ends so the sticks, when they dry, they don't split and crack, which some woods can split and crack like really, really bad. Like I believe it is locust that will just, that stuff like self-destructs. And so paint works as a good sealer, and it allows the whole stick to dry in a more uniform pace. Look at this wild stick. This is actually going to be a really cool shillelagh. And when it's done, I'll cut it down more to like right here. And then it'll just be like a, I don't know, what is it? I went to Limerick with a smile on my lips with a shillelagh under my arm, something like that. But yeah, this will be a cool one when it's done. I like this style. It's very, very old fashioned. Okay, let's see. Oh, I got two more down here. And now these, I'm not going to cut the ends of. I'm actually going to leave these for now because these aren't too bad. And I can already feel this has started to dehydrate quite a bit season. And when this is done seasoning, I'll probably lop it off. Actually, because this has such a big end, I might actually make this a ball end shillelagh, like a knob end. We'll see. You never know until you get to it, you know? Like you can like mark it off and say this was the idea you had, and then you look at it again in a year and you're like, huh, I actually like going about it this way. And I'll just throw something on there. Just a little scrappy piece. I didn't even know I was not in front of the camera. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, this will be a really nice little shillelagh when it's done. Lean and mean, as they say. And I'm just putting them up here with my other sticks. I got a huge wall of sticks over here. I'll show you. Let's see. You can see all those. Those are all sticks I cut 2 weeks ago, I believe it was, after a really crazy windstorm that we had. And those are all, what are those? They're serviceberry and pear. They're a pear species in serviceberry. All right. Oh, I got one more down here I gotta get. And serviceberry has actually been becoming my favorite. I love that wood. It is like when you sand down the bark, because when I'm done with the stick, or it's done seasoning, I'll start sanding down the bark. And serviceberry, you get down into the bark a little deeper, and it has this really nice, like reddish, auburny, almost chestnut color. It is so nice, and it's extremely tough. It used to be used for spindles on wagon wheels back in those days. And if that doesn't tell you how tough it is, I don't know what it is. Yeah, it's one of the strongest woods that we have in North America. And it's not too heavy that it becomes a burden to carry in walking stick form, like some woods can become. I'm being a bit pedantic by getting even the little spots like black and orange. I don't know why I'm doing that. It's just kind of like I'm in the vibe or something. So let's just keep rolling with it. Okay, so I'm going to put you up here with all of the sticks. And then I'm going to move this. I don't have my folding saw out here. I'm going to use my actual, like, lumber saw. That's okay. It still cuts fine. I usually cut everything with my folding saw. And actually, I just got this saw recently, and it's an outrageous blue color. I have no idea why they chose that color, but hey, rock and roll, right? And then now I'm gonna trim down these ends a bit. I got a little too crazy. Didn't need to get that wild. We'll do it this way. Okay. Let's see where the end is. Yeah, I can definitely take it off like right here, and it'll be good. So this is my first time getting a smell on buckthorn, because when I was cutting it, it was very cold, and I didn't have a whole lot of senses that were on fire or on fire that night. And here's the sapwood and the heartwood. And the smell of this, it's like, it's a smell I've smelled before, but I can't quite put my finger on what it is. But like that piece, I'm going to seal this one too, because I actually, you guys want to see, this is what I did with one of my other stick ends. I made a wee little cigar holder. That's a serviceberry. And I think I might even do that with this. And then I'll just leave this hanging around for a while. There we go. That's it for that. Actually, I'll set that right there. Now paint the end of this stick. Oh, hey guys. It just showed up. I'm Rachel. This is Forge La Femme. And I'm painting sticks. And I do this so they don't split as they season. The seasoning process can take, sometimes upwards of 3 years, depending. This one right here that I'm painting, this might take a while because the end is so big. And you can still feel there's a lot of weight on this stick. All right. That is hands down my favorite way to light a cigar, bar none. If you guys want to see other crazy ways I talk about cigars and all things tobacco, I actually started a new channel called Clubhouse Smokes. And I think I only have 2 videos uploaded. But I want to venture into the world of tobacco, all things tobacco, smoking history, all that fun stuff. Maybe someday I'll be on the cover of Cigar Aficionado. Now that would be cool. There we go. The smell is just so interesting. I just can't explain enough how interesting it is. And the grain on it, that is really very interesting. It's almost like a material called micarta that is used for knife handle making. It's not, but it's what it reminds me of. Okay, now that I got that cut, let's seal this end too. And it doesn't really matter what kind of paint. And the reason I use paint instead of wood sealer is paint works. But paint is color coded, or it allows color coding. And that is a handy little thing to have for when you are trying to catalog what species and when it was cut, how long it was, sit for seasoning. Like this was cut in January. So now I will know when I see that two-tone, I will know. I will put you, let's just put you right in the thick of everything. So I'm holding the cigar, obviously quite strange right now. I actually knew a guy, that's how he smoked his cigarettes. He always held it like that between his middle and ring finger. He's a unique guy. One of the more unique guys I've ever encountered in my entire life, in fact. And then, like I said, now that it's that color, I'll forever know that this is a buckthorn piece and that it was cut in January 2026. So when it finally seasons, cures, whatever you want to call it, now I'll know. Now for this big guy, I can leave it, but I don't need to. I am thinking I'm actually going to do a cut somewhere around this region because the ball end is almost actually already there. So I think I'm just going to take it off right around this area. Actually, after I paint this. Wish I had some black paint out here tonight though, but I don't. I only grabbed the one. So this is what I'll be doing. Sawdust and all mixed right in. There's so much sawdust in there. I didn't even think to blow it off. What a nerd. There we go. And as long as a part of it is that orange, that's all I need. What do you want? Yeah, get that little guy too. That little end. So here we are. It's going to be a really, really nice shillelagh when this is done. This is actually this is a real persuasive tool is what it will be. How about that? Let's just leave it there. It'll be a very good motivator. All right. So, I'm going to take this and put it in the rice. Let's just do it like this. Let's do it right. There we go. All right, so back to what I was doing. Where'd my saw go? Behind me. And like I said, I'm just gonna cut it off, like right around here. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's just this will help it speed up the seasoning process. Make sure it's in there tight. And just let the tool do the work. Now you gotta clamp it down a little harder. I don't want to cut into the smaller piece down here and not avoid it as much as possible. There we go. And then like this, just like the other ones, I'm going to paint it a little bit orange on one end. So I know that this is buckthorn. And then I'll paint this whole end so it can seal well. And what will I do with this? Who knows? I might even just try and do some carving on it. But the grain on it is really something else. I've never seen grain quite like this before. And it reminds me of a material called micarta, which is commonly used in knife handles. And it's extremely tough stuff. So we'll see what buckthorn's all about. When I tried looking it up, I couldn't really find any information on buckthorn. So if I recall, I don't have any details to share. Oh, actually, I got to paint the end. Yeah, I'll show you guys real quick before I paint the end. Look at that. Look at that grain. That is really something else on there. Oh, we got Vinny says hi. Hey, Vinny. I'll show y'all out there in Rumble Land. All right, so let's get this end sealed. Sometimes I'll do 2 coats when the wood or the paint seems a bit what do they call it? Translucent? Transparent. There we go. Transparent. I keep calling it translucent. Translucent lets light through, but doesn't necessarily mean you can see through it. Transparent means you can see through it. Okay. And since I tore up the bark a little bit in the vise, I'm going to be painting that little bit too, because that will absolutely cause some checking if I don't. And then I'll just, when it comes to finishing it, I'll just do some sanding around this area and probably do some like hemp wrap, because that's right in the perfect spot for a hemp wrap anyway. And or I might even just paint the whole stick black. I haven't done that in a while. It's a really cool look. The old Irish guys have that all black look, or like a part of it is black. And these, I'm actually going to trim these down, all these little knobby ends. You don't need to go like too far down. I just do, I don't know, leave about a 1/4 inch or so. And that'll be about where I leave it permanently. It gives it kind of that knobby look, thorny look. And even though this is buckthorn, the parts that I was harvesting actually wasn't too thorny. But there definitely were a few out there. They made themselves known, to say the least. And these mechanical assist Fiskars pruning shears, these things are great. I love these. Springtime is coming out. Actually, it is springtime, by the way. Happy spring, guys. As of, what is it, Friday was the spring equinox. Okay, there we go. Let's get those ends painted too a little bit. Some of these ends, when you cut them, can actually cause some pretty good cracking. Checking. Both, actually. I think I have a piece. I'll show you guys what it looks like when it isn't sealed and what can happen to it after I finish painting these ends. And then when it comes to time of actually finishing the stick, I will just grind off a little bit, rasp it off actually. I'll be good to go. So there we are. One awesome shillelagh in the works. Well, actually, this will be a walking stick. This is a long one. This would be an awesome walking stick too. And this is buckthorn. And we'll see what this comes out to be at the very end. When it dries, we'll see how much percentage of its total weight it loses. All right. Well, that was pretty cool. I'm glad that's done. Thank you guys for hanging out too. Now, am I done with that? Yes. Am I done all the way? No. I'm going to be doing a few more things. I'm going to be moving some pieces around. These are ends I'm going to let season as well. And they're all painted accordingly. Like this is service berry with that orange, and this is pear with that lavender color. And I'm going to let these... Oh, that one's not painted. Oh, yeah. I think I left this one unpainted on purpose. We'll keep that out. There's a reason I didn't paint that. I remember that. I just don't remember what it is. So, what are these? You know, I'll just put these over here for now. Far and away from what's going on. Get out that chaos. I'll be playing with fire here in a minute. So stick around, folks. I'm doing a little mini forging. Oh, God. Now it's all peppered and bedazzled. What the heck? Oh, boy. Got the sawdust in the paint. Now it's all pretty. That's funny. Okay, so let's move these just over here and out of the way. Now, as I said, I'd show you a piece of wood and what happens if it's not sealed. And this is mulberry. You can see that has an absolutely massive crack in it. No, I can't quite open it with my hands, but you can see that crack is huge. And I believe they actually call that a check. And that is from letting it season without anything on the ends, and it's seasoned rather quickly. And there you go. Some people will like seal the ends with beeswax and stuff too. There's a lot of things you can seal the ends with. but I just do paint because I have it laying around. Oh, that was not smart. Oh well. Now to start playing with fire. It's actually going to be this Bowie knife right here I forged. I got to do a little work on the point, and I got to straighten out the tang a little bit. I got it a little, well, whacked out a little bit, I guess you could say. So I got to straighten that back out. Where's my cigar? If you guys haven't already done it, go listen to the songs Lemon Pound Cake and Will You Help Me Repair My Door by Afro Man. He just beat Adams County for a bogus lawsuit they tried pulling on him that was really dirty. And he won. And damn it, did he deserve to win. There's my little grandfather age ball peen. I'm going to try and use this beat down little ball peen to straighten out my blade. I'm going to try and move this back. There we go. You see? You can see pretty well, it looks like. There you go. Throw that paintbrush out. Little acid brushes, by the way. That's what they're called, is an acid brush, and they are so handy. I use them for so many things. I don't even actually know what acid brushing is or what an acid brush is for, but it's cool. I tell you that. I need tongs. Let's see. Are my good ones in here? I have not been able to find those in a while. I'm not sure what happened to them. Starting to think a boogeyman took them. And this is actually, let me see how it would go. Yeah. This is actually the guard for the Bowie. Right here, it needs a lot of filing done on it, but this is the beginning stages of the guard for this Bowie. You get the idea. All right, so I'm going to hold this. I'm actually going to use my vise to straighten out the bend in the tang. Let's see so you guys can see how bad it's bent. So we'll try, let's see if we can do it like this. Put it in there like that. Get it hot? Actually, I'll do it like this, whatever. It's getting there. You can see a little color change happening, getting a little bit red. I got that straight, actually. Let's see. That looks pretty dang straight. Hang on. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty dang close. Let's see if I can get that. I see a little bit right there. All right. Now the tank's straight. You guys can see that bow is gone. That's great. Now, That is extremely hot, so I will not be holding it from here on. You can see that the end got a little deformed, so I'm going to bring that back down a little bit. Actually, just going to do it right here like this. Not even hold it for now. You know what? Let's put it in the vise. Why not? That way I ain't got to worry about nothing too crazy. Getting in the way. Okay, we'll just do it like that. That'll work. And I have a forge outside, not inside, so that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. How well can you guys hear me, by the way, with my microphone on and the torch going? Can you guys actually still hear me pretty well? Throw some ones in the comments or give me a like to let me know. I usually can still hear myself when I play it back. I just want to make sure that I'm coming in sounding good, you know? There we go. See if I can get this out of here fast enough without causing a massive ruckus. Could you describe that ruckus? Nope, not a file. That's not what we want. I hope you guys saw that. And just get that tip cleaned down, straightened out a little bit. Oh, gotta get it hot again. Back at it. A little fine bit right there. A little tiny bit at the end. Sometimes that's just the way it is. Let's see if we can get more of this steel hot, so it'll not lose its temperature so quick. We've only been live for 33 minutes. I can't believe it. Feels like I've almost been live for an hour. All right, let's try and get this work back down. And tap it again. Try to keep some bevels in there. There we go. Let's see. That's pretty good right there. And now we got a Bowie again instead of a swoopy end. Before we had a swoopy end, and nobody wants a swoopy end Bowie. That's a sad Bowie. And no, I will not touch this for science before somebody asks. People like to ask those crazy questions, and I don't understand why you guys want to see people hurt themselves. And actually, fun little fact, you don't, well, actually, no, let's just set this on the anvil behind me. While we're at it, check out this machete. This is actually from Burma, well, the former Burma, now Myanmar. This is called the Kachin Dao. It's an absolutely fantastic machete, genius design. They actually made it this way, square-ended, because they actually were outlawed from having pointed ends. So they decided to work with it, and they made this square end so they could dig in the soft jungle soil with it. And it is a very fantastic tool. And the scabbard it goes in is open on one side, and it's got these really very tightly carved in grooves on the side that it goes in, and you just drop it in. Don't even worry about it. The dirt shakes off. Bring it back out. You're ready to rock and roll again. Yeah, that's called the Kachin Dao from Burma. One of the coolest things I have. One of my favorite things, actually. I have two of them, luckily. Actually, I'll show you. I actually have two Kachin Dao. But this one is extra special because this is what they call a rainbow. You might be able to see a little bit of color variation in there along the stripe. If you can, that's from, well, Rainbow Damascus, I guess you could call it, but they call them rainbow swords up in like Nepal. Yep, how old are they? I'm not sure. Believed to be about 100, 150 years old, I believe is the idea behind how old they are. So, this is the guard for the Bowie. I still got a lot of meat on the bones, obviously. But I'm going to see about some filing on this. So let's get this out. And then we're going to put this in, but it's going to be a little bit proud. And actually, where's a good file that I have for this? We'll see how this guy works. Yeah, we'll try this one. Nope, I mean, it's good. It's a sharp one, but I need something that gets more aggressive. What will I find? I don't really have any aggressive files anymore. Or if I do, I don't know where they are. Gotta make sure not to touch this screaming hot knife over here too. See, these are all like really fine. I don't know why it's always like the fine tooth ones I find in like estate sales and stuff. What is this big guy? Ooh, it's got a, check this out. This is cool. I have to wire brush it real quick. So this one is actually German made, and on it says best German products, and it's got like a moon with like a B and an S. I'll show you guys over here. Actually, let's get the light back on. You see, there you go. See, best German products. And then when I flip it over, here we go. You can see it's got a flintlock rifle. How cool is that? That's one of their stamps they use for this company. I don't know how old these are, but I know they're quite old. No, where is my handle I had over here? You know, it's one of those things, it's always in the way. And you put it somewhere and then you finally need it and you go, oh God, where'd I put it? That's the situation I'm in right now. Because now I actually need that handle, which would work so well for this. And I've moved the handle to somewhere else. Let me see if it's in here. Oh boy. Huh. You know what? I know I got it somewhere, but I'm not going to put too much time into it. I'll just file without a handle, I guess. Had to do that a few times in my life. And I get all my files and stuff from estate sales, flea markets, stuff like that. Mostly flea markets, actually. At least the one I go to, that's a gold mine for old tools, like the real old ones. And I actually seek out a specific brand of file called Hayes. And Hayes were actually made in Detroit, which is where I'm from. Ah, there we go. That's hogging off some meat right there. And this guard for this Bowie is actually made out of wrought iron. So when this is done, this will have an acid etch to expose the grain. It keeps catching just that little spot right there. So we'll actually see if that'll work. Bring it up a little bit higher, you know? Let's see if I can sit down and do this. Yeah, I might be able to. All right, let's turn it that way a little bit. Bring my cigar, of course. Gotta have that. What time is it? Oh, coming up on 8:30. Means I gotta go soon. And when you're hand filing, you just want to push. You can pull back, but it said that will actually dull it out faster. It's also amazing how much friction you can get moving by hand filing. Like this piece right here. Let me see if I can touch it. I can, but it's definitely warm. Oh, hey guys. More of you showed up. I'm Rachel. This is Forge Femme, and I'm out of Detroit, Michigan. And I am hand filing a Bowie guard for a Bowie knife that I can't show you because it'll burn the bejesus out of me. But that is what it will be for. And as you're filing, you'll see, I don't know if you guys can see. Let me see, I'll actually use my little Kiradashi. You can see like these little pieces here. Those are called pins. And you gotta scrape those out every now and again, which it doesn't matter too much on this because it is going to be a guard and there will be, you know, like wood on the back side of this. But that's how you stop things like big gouges from happening. Let me see if you guys can see them. Yeah, like little ones. Like that. That's how you stop the big gouges, or deep gouges rather. Right every now and again, grinding them out. There's actually a tool called a file card that I do have. It's in the house though. And that's a pretty handy tool. I mean, it was made to clean a file. And there's also something called chalking, which I do have chalk. I'll show you guys real quick what chalking is. Chalking is fun stuff for hand filing. Now, sidewalk chalk is a handy tool. And I get sidewalk chalk usually towards the winter, but sometimes in the spring on clearance. And I got 2 packs. I think it was like 75 cents a piece or something. And I use them for chalking my files. Now that I got a nephew, we're going to be coloring on the sidewalk. And for all things chalk. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to chalk it. And when I say you chalk it, you just put chalk on it. You don't have to load it up too much. There you go, like this. And the pins I was just talking about that you get, this actually helps thwart getting those pins because you have a little bit of chalk in there and it will stop them from embedding, and then you can just shake them out or they brush out much easier. And now I get covered in pink sidewalk chalk. That's funny. But we'll go over this a few times and we'll see if I picked up any pins. This is also wrought iron that I'm filing and not steel, so it will be a bit different. Not necessarily as stubborn. All right, I went over it with a few passes. There we go. If you look, you can see there's some chalk left, not much, but there's also no pins. And it does help with that really well. I'll show you over here in Rumble Land. No pins. So I'm actually going to see where I'm at on filing this. Yep, now it's getting nice and flat. I'm going to go across the top now. All right. Let's chalk it up, because the carbides that form on the top when you're forging, those are really hard. They can get lodged up in there too. And this will make it less problematic. But yeah, just basic sidewalk chalk. Cool stuff to have on hand. It's more handy than you expect. It's one of those things where you're like, wow, I didn't realize it could be that handy. It is. Okay, there we go. This is a really good file too. This thing is still sharp. This thing is so good that I almost consider taking it to a machinist or someone and have them sharpen it. It's got this, this is probably, I don't know, about 14 inches or so. So you got a really long sweep on it. And yes, I can do it on my belt sander right there. But why do that when I have hand tools? Not everything needs to be done on a belt sander. These are the type of things where you can, but for me, it's kind of getting to that point where it could become like power tools make power mistakes type deal, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. Is it faster? It can be. It certainly can be. But speed is not always the key. All right, let's do a check. All right. You see there's really no pins in there. So the chalking is actually working quite well. Let's see, turn that off. All right, now we're back in business. So we're gonna brush this out, what little bit is in there. And we'll chalk it up again. And when you chalk your file, it eats through the chalk quickly. I mean, the whole time you're dragging it down, it's just eating away at it. Which, hey, you get it cheap enough, it doesn't matter. This stuff's cheap anyway. Worthy investment, though. And this was actually a hot fit guard. And hot fitting has its big benefits. It makes it fit it very nice and tight. Because gaps, well, they're very unsightly. I'm gonna stand up for this, get more of that leverage. All right, we do got a couple pins, but nothing major. I'll show you over here in Rumble. We got a couple. It's not bad though. So you just brush them out and re-chalk. That's all you gotta do. Simple, isn't it? All right, so back at it. This is much less awkward than the sitting position. I think I put up a short of me doing a hot fit, actually. If you guys want to go check it out, it was a lot of fun to do. And I did it in the dark so you could see the hot steel coming down all the way to the Picasso. All right. Actually, let's see where we're at on this guy. I can feel the warmth of it from hand filing. You can see that it's looking much more flat. Let's see. I could probably bring it down a little bit. We're not going to worry about that right now. I'm going to work on that side. Let's brush this off. I'm going to keep chalking it to avoid those issues with those pins. Can't do it completely, but it does help. You guys watching. Your champions hanging out for sure. Watching me hand file. I like watching shot videos too, so I get it for sure. You can tell when the chalk wears out. You might have heard the tone change. When you hear that, that's when you gotta re-chalk the file. All right. I'm gonna do one more round of this, and then I think I'll call that a night. Actually, let's see where we're at before we get to filing. I gotta take a bit off on this side still to get it more even. It's amazing what you can do with some files, ain't it? It's amazing to me. Yeah. I should have a little bit more on this side. Actually, I'll do some here. I almost forgot what I was doing. Losing my mind out here. Talking about chalk, pens. There's those carbides. All that carbon. This file is just eating right through this stuff too. All right, we'll call that good for tonight. Runny nose. All right. I'm gonna finish this cigar. Be covered in pink dust. Feeling like Tinkerbell over here. Yep, that's a little warm actually to the touch. Let me see if I can get this on the Bowie. All right. There's the rough idea right there. Here's the Bowie. Really rough guard, but this will be, I'm actually gonna, I think, get rid of this and just make it points that are slightly tweaked, but not much. But yep, there you go. There's the Bowie knife I'm working on. I'll probably be doing all my work hours tomorrow on this. I'm pretty proud of this guy, actually. This is made from a Nicholson file. And considering the Bowie knife is the American knife, I thought, what better a material to use, because I make all my knives out of files and repurposed steels, than the name of Files, the American company, Nicholson. So that's what I made it out of. I might even make a new one. I don't know if I'm happy with this guy. We'll see. We'll see what tomorrow brings. I might make a new one. We'll see. That's where we stand with this, like, old English kind of S. Oh, 8:35. Almost time to turn in for me anyway. I don't know about you guys, but I go to bed early. I'm like in bed like 9:30, 10 o'clock these days. But yep. That was cool. I got a lot of things finished today that I needed to. Thank you guys for hanging out. And also over there in Rumble Land. Much appreciated, guys. And you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. Actually, hey, the week starts tomorrow. So have a good rest of your night. Peace.